Andrew Bridgen confronts Parliament over COVID contracts. Sunak's role questioned in heated session. A dramatic moment unfolded in Parliament this week as Independent MP Andrew Bridgen used his speaking time to raise pointed concerns about the UK government's handling of vaccine procurement during the COVID-19 pandemic, with particular attention placed on then-Chancellor and now Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. In a carefully worded address, Bridgen presented a packet of documents and public records that he said should prompt serious reflection on the decision-making process during the pandemic, including how emergency contracts were issued, how oversight was managed, and what role senior government figures played. Standing before a visibly tense House of Commons, Bridgen began by clarifying that his statements were intended to promote transparency and accountability, not to discredit the importance of vaccination efforts or public health measures. "This is not an attack on science, nor on saving lives," he stated. "It is a call for transparency about how decisions were made and who benefited, including individuals at the very top of government at the time." Among those individuals, Bridgen directly referenced Rishi Sunak, who served as Chancellor of the Exchequer during the critical early months of the pandemic. Bridgen questioned the extent of Sunak's involvement in the approval and financing of multi-million-pound vaccine contracts, and whether proper due diligence had been exercised under intense political and public pressure. Bridgen's concerns centered on three key points. Emergency contracting powers. He questioned the government's use of fast-track procurement methods, which allowed contracts to bypass traditional competitive bidding procedures. Financial oversight. As Chancellor at the time, Sunak oversaw the allocation of vast emergency funds. Bridgen asked whether the checks and balances on this funding were sufficient. Public trust. He argued that long-term public confidence in government health guidance depends on full transparency now. Though he did not present allegations of illegal activity, Bridgen implied that some procurement decisions deserved further review, particularly in light of Sunak's senior role during that time. "The public deserves to know how their money was spent and who approved those decisions," he added. As Bridgen spoke, reactions in the chamber were mixed. Some MPs chose to walk out during the address, while others remained to challenge or support his statements. The Speaker of the House briefly intervened to remind members of their parliamentary responsibilities and rights under debate. Several MPs later criticized Bridgen for using parliamentary privilege to raise what they saw as inflammatory concerns. Others defended his right to question decision-making at the highest levels of government, especially when billions in public funds were involved. Following the session, a spokesperson for Prime Minister Rishi Sunak responded to the comments by reaffirming the integrity of the government's pandemic response. "The Prime Minister has always supported full transparency and is cooperating fully with the official COVID-19 inquiry. Every emergency procurement decision made under his watch as Chancellor followed existing legal frameworks and was guided by the urgent need to save lives." The Cabinet Office also emphasized that ministers, including Sunak, acted on the advice of scientific experts and civil servants, and that all procurement processes during the pandemic are subject to ongoing public inquiry and legal review. Bridgen's speech quickly went viral online, with social media users split over whether it constituted an important intervention or a politically charged spectacle. Hashtags like #PandemicTransparency and #SunakQuestions began trending within hours. Major news outlets offered differing takes. Some outlets praised Bridgen for bringing attention to long-overdue questions, while others cautioned against drawing premature conclusions without full inquiry results. Political commentator Fiona Lawson noted, "Andrew Bridgen's decision to raise Sunak's name in the Commons reflects the growing appetite for accountability at all levels, but it's important we don't conflate questions with conclusions." It's worth noting that many of Bridgen's concerns fall within the remit of the official COVID-19 public inquiry, a comprehensive investigation currently underway to examine the UK's pandemic response. Rishi Sunak has already provided testimony, and the inquiry is expected to scrutinize procurement decisions, ministerial involvement, and public health messaging over the coming months. Observers suggest that rather than trying to resolve these issues through political speeches, it may be more effective to let the inquiry proceed with its evidence-based mandate. Andrew Bridgen's bold comments in Parliament have once again pushed questions about government accountability into the spotlight, this time reaching the highest levels of political leadership. While Rishi Sunak's office has defended the actions taken during his time as Chancellor, the broader debate about transparency and responsibility in times of crisis is far from over. As the COVID-19 inquiry continues, the public will be watching closely to see whether the concerns raised translate into meaningful change. What's your take? Do you think past pandemic decisions should be revisited in greater detail, or should we focus on moving forward? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Stay informed and stay engaged.